He wasn't sure. I don't think he was sure where he was or who we were, but he was definitely friendly and very chatty.
He sounds like Ted. He's just good at anybody. I wanted to ask you too, is it true that somebody found him and they stopped to go for a pee?
No, that's not true. No, we were sent there to check an area that was between like two bodies of water along a river. And
sounds like they were lost. Yeah.
there's an ATV trail. It's kind of like a little bit of a waterfall. The water's moving really quickly there.
Yeah.
So we were a group of 5 members from our emergency response team. 3 of us went to the north. 2 went to the south, and
Yeah.
the three members that walked kind of upstream found him about 50 meters from where we had parked our 4-wheelers.
Oh, that's amazing. It sounds very much like the place where I lost him.
Yeah.
I guess he had get too far.
Yeah, we're not sure where he was. Like, we couldn't retrace his tracks. We never did find his shoes. He was missing most of his. He was missing quite a few things.
You know, he started like missing things Wednesday morning. I'm not surprised. Is it also true that he was within maybe a kilometer of Camp Olympia?
I'm not sure in regards to Camp Olympia because we had to drive on the 4-wheelers and kind of go a long way around to get to the trail. But he was 980 meters from your cabin, but that's in a straight line, like as the crow flies, so not along a tree. So.
That's amazing.
But as you know, the bush is really thick.
But you never would have, like Cecilia, the way he describes it, like, you know, and as you know, the bush is really thick, so, you know, 980 meters could have been 980 miles.
Yeah, equally difficult for him.
That's for sure, yeah. And he was unable to walk. I mean, he was hypothermic, so that's why it would explain why he had started to take off some of his clothing. That's very common for someone suffering hypothermia.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, so he had no coat and no pants and no shoes, and no hat. His glasses were gone. He was very, very wet. Like, as you know, that big storm went through.
Yeah.
So.
That really scared me.
Yeah, us also.
Oh my God. Lamar, do you have any questions, honey?
I'm just grateful for help.
Yeah, we were really happy. It was a really, really good outcome for everyone. So.
And I was talking to them, if I can say something, Cecilia, like I was talking to the guys, and they said, and you know how much I do around policing and that, and I thought, you know, is this just another save for them? But he was telling me that this really, like it really made them happy to get this because it's something that they didn't expect that Ted would be found alive.
Yeah, you hold out hope, and when the officer called out to me and told me that he had him and then he was alive, I mean, that's an amazing feeling, as you can imagine. As I'm sure that phone call to you guys was. So, you should know, Cecilia, that you saved his life by doing what you did, getting out of the woods and putting in that effort. That couldn't have been easy, and without you actually getting out and getting help, we would have never have found your husband. So.
I just, it was a miracle I took just the right turn in the right trail at last.
Yeah.
So.
Well, be proud of yourself, that's for sure.
Oh, thank you. Well, you guys are wonderful. I can't get over how many people came out and actually just gave 100%.
Yeah.
And you're welcome, certainly. Thank you so much.
No, it's our pleasure. I'm glad it was a good outcome. We'll come meet face to face one of these days.
Okay, Cecilia, they'll meet you face to face. Okay?
Oh, I would like that very much.
Okay. Take care, my dear.
Okay, Pete, thank you so much.
Hey, no problem, Cecilia. Thank you. I'm glad you know how happy I am. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Take care.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay. Bye. How long you been a member of ERT?
I've been a member of Central Region Emergency Response since 2013.
And how long you been a police officer?
Since 2008.
Tell me about, you get a fair number of these over summer and winter months, but I'm guessing summer months are more often than not?
Summer months are more often, just due to people hiking, and hunters now, a lot of them have GPSs, so that they tend to find themselves, but a lot of people who go hiking tend to get lost.
With this one, you're obviously based in Northumberland.
That's correct.
But because you're Central Region, you can go anywhere?
Anywhere in the province if required, but mostly we stay within the Central Region, the OPP, which basically borders us here in Northumberland to about Huntsville to the north and Collingwood to the west.
When you got this call, did you know all the details with it, the age of the gentleman, things like that?
Yeah, so when we got paged out, I was on night shift. Our day shift units were already on scene doing a search, so we got all the details that the two parties have been missing since Monday morning, lost in the woods, and the wife of the now missing person had made herself out somewhere, got help on Thursday morning around 8 o'clock in the morning.
When you hear how long they've been in there for, and Cecilia was saying that I think the temperatures that night were 9 degrees-ish, something like that.
Yeah.
You always hold out hope, but it may have been just as easy as a recovery. Like, in other words, you guys go through that. You want to put closure for the family.
Absolutely.
Either way.
Yeah,
but
time is definitely against us in that case, and it's very important to get get as many resources out there as possible as quickly as possible.
Yeah. Okay. They when you get a call like this, because of the time, because of the temperature, because how long they've been in there, because of their age, what goes through an officer's mind?
Yeah, just the urgency of the search itself. Obviously, every search is different, but every search is also an emergency, whether it's someone who's just become lost in the park or someone who's been lost multiple days. Either those are someone who's in trouble and they need us to get there and deploy as many resources as quickly as possible.
Describe the terrain.
The terrain around where this individual was lost, very thick bush, steep inclines, bodies of water, whether it be lakes, rivers, everywhere, very, very wet. Wet rocks, lots of cliffs, a very difficult terrain to navigate. And working against us also, there are multiple ATV trails that run into ATV trails, so to try to even follow one trail is very difficult because one turns into two and so on.
So how long had you been there when you, I guess, were sent in the area that Ted was found?
Yeah, so we arrived around 8:30, 9 o'clock p.m. and we located him at 2 a.m., just before 2 in the morning.
Tell me the story how you located him. Tell me why sort of Jeff was saying, like, we'll try this area. Tell me how that came.
So on every search, we have a search manager that kind of navigates where we go, looking at a map. All searchers on our emergency response team carry GPSs, so they can track exactly where we've been. There was an area that had yet been covered between two bodies of water. There was a river that ran between them, but the concern at night was there's a lot of incline there. So when I say incline, there's basically like a cliff on either side of this moving river. So Jeff had asked that we drive out on the ATVs, and it was about 2.5 kilometers from the road down a pretty rugged trail to this river, and just do what we can to kind of skirt the edges of this moving river to the north and the south, just to try to get a lay of the land. So we were a group of 5. 3 guys went north towards one body of water, 2 of us went south towards the other, and the 3 members that went north located missing person within 50 meters of the trail.
Do you know how they found him? Like, did they see him because it's dark and all that stuff? So how did they?
So they described it as they were walking up a hill, and they glanced over, and he actually has a bald head, and when their flashlights hit him, he was right there, like stood right out. He was conscious. He was suffering hypothermia. He was in quite a bit of pain and missing some of his clothing, which is consistent with somebody of hypothermia. Those members, 3 of them stayed at scene with Mr. Naismith. They built a fire. We wrapped them in jackets, and we have first aid kits and used emergency blankets to try to get them warm. 2 of us drove back out on 4-wheelers and met paramedics who provided us with a stretcher and some warming packs. We came back in. Just due to the state that we didn't know what injuries he had, we put him on a stretcher, and then a group of 6 or 7 of us from our emergency response team carried him out the 2.5 kilometers to a waiting ambulance.
How he wasn't in the greatest shape. In other words, I don't think he would have, like, from hearing from his wife, from hearing even the way you describe it, I don't think it would have lasted much longer.
Yeah, it's really hard to say, but the temperature was 9 degrees when we located him. A large storm had just gone through, so it rained for about an hour and a half, maybe around 8 p.m., so that didn't obviously help him staying warm. He was very, very wet and very, very cold when we found him. So,
was he making sense, or was he sort of?
He was. At times he made sense, but I don't think he realized that he was in the woods. He didn't realize that we were the police. He was making comments about being other places and not sure why we were touching him, and which is again common signs of hypothermia.
As a police officer that's well versed for searching for people, would you say it's rare for a save like this to happen in 5 days in these conditions with this age? Is this rare?
In my experience, I would say it's very rare that basically everything was against him, but he had the will to push on, and his wife hadn't seen him in over 24 hours. I think, like, in my opinion, she's the hero in this story. I mean, we all did our part to get him out, but had she not have persevered and pushed through to get herself out of the woods to get help, we don't have any idea when we would have even got the call that they were missing. And given the distance that they had traveled, our search would have began at their cabin, and it's highly unlikely that we would have located them in a safe amount of time.
How many hurt guys were on scene, or can you give me numbers?
So we had 23 members of our Central Region Emergency Response Team, 2 members of our Central Region K9 team with their search and rescue dogs. We had aviation, so helicopter. We had our drone, as well as members of the Huntsville Detachment Marine Unit and the M&R on ATVs assisting.
Is that right?
It was
a major search.
It was a major search, and it was a great outcome.
Talk about that, just to wrap it up. Talk about how it feels to have a win.
Really, really good. I mean, so often you have negative experiences in policing just by the nature of the job. We were 5 days in almost on this search. You know, everyone is holding out hope, but when that member of our team yelled out that he'd locate him and that he was alive and conscious, I mean, it's kind of indescribable at the time. Everyone's really, really happy. We're really happy for the family.
You don't get many like that.
We do not.